This is how we use CISD confirmations to create an alignment of confirmation of how we pull all of these key aspects together, pairing the higher time frame with the lower time frame to synchronize these time frames together to give you a massive advantage in the market. So once a valid candle 2 closure or candle 3 closure has been identified, a lower time frame confirmation must be present to continue. This lower time frame confirmation will be a CISD. So these are the time frame pairings that we can use. If we identify a weekly swing point, we can use a 4-hour CISD. If we identify a daily swing point, we can use a 1-hour CISD. If we identify a 4-hour swing point, we can use a 15-minute CISD. If it's a 1-hour swing point, we use a 5-minute CISD for our entries. If it's a 30-minute swing point, 3-minute CISD. And if it's a 15-minute swing point, it's a 1-minute CISD. So this is keyed into our model on the SMCX indicator and the different time variations we use to pair the higher time frame with the lower time frame. Here is an example of how it unfolds. So you can see over here, we've got our higher time frame and we get a candle 2 closure. You can see a swing point with a failure to displace, candle 2 closures. So this is our confirmation for us to look for a long position. We jump onto a lower time frame. We jump onto a lower time frame pair, and you can see over here we get our CISD projected in the candle 2 area. We wait for price to break above the CISD, and that is where we look for an entry. When price breaks above the CISD level, it confirms the sweep as being valid and the manipulation being valid. So it's a stronger confirmation to enter, knowing that there is going to be this change in state of delivery of the market from this downward state into this upward state. Here is another example. You can see over here on the higher time frame candles, we got a candle 1, which basically we get the failure to displace of candle 2. We get a swing high being formed. This confirms for us now that we're looking for a short position because we get a candle 2 closure. So we jump onto the lower time frame chart and you can see we get this sweep happening here. The closures happen and we mark out the CISD. All we want to do is see price break and close below the CISD, and that is where we look to take our short entry. Another example using the weekly higher time frame candles and the 4-hour for our entry. You can see on the weekly we've got this continuation of big bearish candles to the downside, but you can see candle 2 causes a swing high point. Candle 1 is lower than candle 2. It does a failure to displace. Once candle 2 closes, this is our confirmation of a candle 2 closure. So we jump onto the 4-hour time frame and we look for an entry. And you can see over here, this was our swing high being developed that took out these highs. You can see it was an aggressive run to the upside. So we mark out the candle or series of candles that caused this aggressive run, which is our CISD. As soon as price breaks below the CISD, it's showing us this change in state of delivery, and it confirms for us that this is the best time to look for and enter a short position. We're here in the charts, and here's a perfect example of what I was talking about. You can see we've marked out a fair value gap over here, which is our higher time frame point of interest zone. And we want to wait for price to come to this level before we look for a relevant swing. You can see over here, this was what the indicator marked on the chart. You see it marked out the swing point. It gave us a relevant CISD level to enter as well. But the only thing is this did not happen in a key level. So we could have taken this and it could have worked out, but it wouldn't have been an A+ setup. We always want to look for price to come to a key level, being this higher time frame fair value gap or a higher time frame high or low point in the charts. So you can see price comes to this higher time frame fair value gap, and now we want to look for a swing being developed. You can see we've got a swing high being developed in the market, but we want to look for more confirmation. We want to wait for that failure to displace. You can see we get a failure to displace of candle number 2 happening over here. When that happens, it projects the CISD on the chart, and this becomes the key entry point. So now all we want to do is we want to see price break the CISD level. You can see we've got a confirmed candle 2 closure happening on the higher time frame chart. It's happening at a key level, which is what's the most important part to us. So we just want to see a break. Price breaks below the CISD, and this is precisely where we want to look for our entry. The stop loss can go above the highest point, and we can target these liquidity lines at the bottom. So let's play this out and see how it goes. Oh, it's dropping nicely. You can see we get a nice retracement. If we get a retracement and we want to look for a continuation entry, we mark out the opening of the bullish candle in this downward momentum. If price breaks that level, we can look for another entry. There you go. So that could have been a continuation entry. And we see it forms another retracement. So what we do, we mark out those opposing candle run. We wait for price to break, and that can become another entry. Let's see. Well, there we go. Get a nice break of that level. So we could have taken another re-entry. So if you miss the actual reversal point, you can catch continuations by using these opposing candle entries. These little candles weren't strong enough confirmation. So let's see, is price going to hit its target? So you can see we get another opposing candle run. So now I want to wait for price to break for another re-entry. There you go. There you go. And then you go, price comes all the way down and it takes out our liquidity at the bottom. So this is how we can use the higher time frame to synchronize with the lower time frame, looking for these candle 2 or candle 3 closures at relevant levels, observing the CISD being formed, and then looking for an entry when price breaks the CISD.